Today Show!
Let's go, baby!
Luka Doncic drops a 60-point, 21 rebound, 10 assist triple-double. Insane, historic numbers. We'll talk about it and the win that came with it all on today's Locked On Mavs.
I'm Luka Doncic, and this is Locked On Mavericks.
Mavericks, NBA champions. Bang! It's good, and the Mavericks have won the game.
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
Let's go, baby.
And welcome. You're locked on to the Dallas Mavericks. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member and NBA channel manager for the Locked On Podcast Network. Letting it ride. Thanks for making Locked On Mavs your first listen each and every day and every post-game. Remember, Locked On Mavs is free and available on all podcast platforms, including YouTube, where we just hit 20,000 subs tonight. 20,000. We could literally sell out the AAC. Best way you can help us grow the show. Best way you can help us grow the show is comment anything below. Let us know what's the most incredible part of Luka's historic game tonight. Let us know in the comment section as we just let it ride. And joining me, as always, my co-host, writer, contributor at Mavs.com, the 60-point person, the one more thing king. What you got for me, Isaac Harris?
I'm currently debating, should I light this cigar in my house?
Where are the smoke detectors?
Do I want a divorce right now? What a night. This night went from...
Oh, what a night.
This night went from, you've got to be freaking kidding me, Quentin Grimes. He's going to ruin my whole night.
Quentin Grimes.
To a literal all-timer in American Airlines Center. Just an all-timer.
The most points ever scored in the American Airlines Arena.
That's true. More than any Stars player either.
So many things. Yeah. Is that the most points ever scored by anybody in the American Airlines Arena in any sport, in anything, right? Like, you have to think about all the other things that have been played there. On today's show, we'll get into Luka's incredible, insane night, but the win that went with it, Mavs win 126 to 121. That may have been even crazier because the Mavs were down by 9 with 27 seconds left in the game. And they come back and force overtime on one of the wildest shots you'll see to force overtime. And then they get the win. But it wouldn't be a Luka Doncic night if we didn't. No,
You're struggling.
I'm struggling to put my thoughts together. I don't have the Doncic dance on my. I have to grab it real quick.
Oh my gosh.
What was the most insane part of Luka's game? His 60-point game.
Oh, I mean, it's the putback. It's, it's in a spot like that one, they put JaVale in. I'm like, all right, we're going all for this here.
Oh, they subbed somebody in for a rebound that hadn't played all game?
Oh my gosh, what a flashback.
That's a throwback.
And then, it's just one of those all-time just crazy plays of he misses it perfect. And, when you miss a shot like that, you want it to, a lot of people just miss the rim or, it's a violation if you miss the rim, but misses it great, bounces around. And like, there's a screenshot of like 2 Knicks players grabbing the ball and somehow it bounces around. And, JaVale had a hand in that play too, a little bit. And it's Luka magic, man. Like, there's nothing else to explain. He hits it and he gets up and does this. I thought in the moment that he was complaining to the ref. And then we're sitting in the, the presser afterwards, and Matt, one of the videographers for the Mavs, shows us, this footage of that he got, and it's like, I'm like, oh, he's like celebrating.
So Luka hits the putback, right? Like you said, the game is now tied. Luka gets up. He falls down because he thought he got fouled. He gets up and he does this sort of like he gets in a defensive stance and he's doing like happy feet, like, you know, the back and forth with his feet. And then he's got his hands doing like rapid jazz hands to either side. He's like going back and forth like this. It's the funniest thing that you'll see. He's like so elated. And we're like, and I told you even, I said, I think it's three things. I think it's all three things combined. I think he was happy he hit the shot. He wanted a foul, and he was also getting back on defense like all at the same time. He was just like trying to control all of his emotions in one. It was none of those things.
None of the above. Because after the game, he's asked about the dance, and he literally says, he said, I've been asked about it a lot in the locker room and everything. Post game, he goes, I thought we won. Luka thought they won in the moment.
Oh, man. And then all of a sudden he realizes, I have to play overtime now. I have to play overtime and go ahead and do that. An incredible night. That moment, I think, is probably the biggest one. We posted on our YouTube shorts. I had almost left. I was about to leave and go to the media room. I didn't believe I shouldn't be here. I was about to go to the media room early because I thought, the game was over, and then if you get there early, then you can beat the crowd and all that kind of stuff. And then I saw them hit like another shot, and so then I sat down like lower, like near courtside. Don't tell anybody.
No, well, it's a funny story for us because I left the press box a little early, and I got down to the lower tunnel. And I kind of did the same thing you did. So I walked out in one of the other tunnels courtside a little bit and was watching the end of the game. And I look over and your courtside, the opposite of the court. I'm like, what the crap? Nick and I both had the same. And then we just enjoyed overtime that way.
And it was incredible. The reason why is because NBA teams were 0 and 13,884 in the last 20 seasons when trailing by 9 points with 35 or less seconds left. The Mavs were down by 9 with 27 seconds left. Teams had never won that in 13,884 tries. The Mavericks were the first team ever in the last 20 years to do this, according to Elias Sports Bureau. Or no, that's ESPN Stats and Info. That's insane. That's why we thought it was done. That's why we didn't believe and we shouldn't be here. But I have learned, and now I don't know if I can ever doubt again, but it's
Luka Doncic, Luka Doncic, Luka Doncic, Luka Doncic, Luka Doncic, Luka Doncic.
The guy he's 23. He's about to turn 24 in about a week or so. And you're just like, what can't he do? He goes off for 60. He has 21 rebounds. That's a career high for him as well. In the fourth quarter and overtime. Listen to this. This is like a really awesome game that not many NBA players in their life will ever do. Fourth quarter and overtime in this game. Luka Doncic, 25 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, a block, and a steal in 17 minutes.
That's dumb.
In just the fourth quarter and overtime. And he was a plus 17 when the Mavs were a plus 17 when he was on the floor in that stretch.
Has Alonzo Trier ever did that in a game?
I would have to say I don't think so. Luka also said after the game that he's never scored 60 in his life before in a game. Not even obviously not at Real Madrid, but even before that, like when he was a kid, he didn't think he ever scored 60 in a game. Are you ready? Are you ready for all the milestones? I got them all listed here. Luka Doncic, 60 points tonight. Career high in points and rebounds. Mavs franchise record. Dirk had 53 back in 2004. The most 50-point games for a Maverick now. The first 60-point, 21 rebound, 10 assist game in NBA history. The second 60-point triple-double in NBA history. Harden had one in 2018. And Harden's the only other player with 60 points and 10 assists. Like, take out the rebounds. It's 60 points and 10 assists. Sixth player with 6 or more 40-point triple-doubles with Luka, Oscar, Harden, Westbrook, LeBron, and Wilt. It's just the 79th 60-point game in NBA history. That's a lot more than I actually thought it was going to be, but there's only been 79 that have ever been done. It's the 33rd time that there's been a 60-point, 21-rebound game. But it's only been done by 5 players. Wilt has 28 of those. Shaq has 1, Mikan has 1, Baylor has 2, now Luka has 1. That is insane for him to put up those numbers. Coming up, we'll talk about how he got it done. How did Luka Doncic pull off this incredible feat? We talk about why it's amazing. We'll talk about how he got it done coming up. But before we do, let me tell you about Prize Picks. I hope you took the over on Luka Doncic points in this Prize Picks game tonight and took the under on Brunson because Brunson ended up not playing in this one. But you can go to Prize Picks, pick 2 to 5 players. They're over under on their projections. For example, you got the Bucks versus the Bulls. Isaac, Giannis, 31.5 over under against the Bulls.
Over.
Give me the over on that. DeRozan, 24.5 over under.
Over.
Your boy Vucevic that was tweeting about Luka tonight. Over under 15.5 points.
Under.
You put all three of those together, you combine them. I put down $20, I will win $45. If I put down $100, I'll win $225 just on Prize Picks. You can also add a whole bunch of multipliers and do things. You can win up to like 45 times the amount. So go check it out. You can also get a 100% deposit match up to $100. Promo code Locked On. Again, that's 100% deposit match up to $100 with the promo code Locked On. PrizePicks.com, promo code Locked On. All right, Isaac Harris, thanks for making Locked On Mavs your first listen every day. Make your next listen Locked On Sports today. Incredible show breaking down all the biggest things in sports on YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. All right, let's get into why and how Luka Doncic was able to pull this off. Because one of your favorite stats that you've been tracking all year about Luka specifically and the Mavericks winning and losing games is what?
3-point shot attempts by Luka. I should have the stat handy by now, but when you look at the stats of him shooting over 9 threes and under 9 threes in a game, there's been a few exceptions to that, but there's some decent data, however you want to say it, of when he attempts under 9 threes and the wins that culminate sometimes.
Mavs are 2 and 5 when he takes over 9 threes a game in a game this season. 2 and 5. Yeah,
and my whole thought on it is just like, hey, when he's taking, more than 10 or more threes at a game, then it means he's settling, and it means that he's not getting into the paint, and he could get into the paint no matter who he's playing. And tonight he put up 60 points and only hit 2 threes in a game.
only took 6 of them.
He only took 6 and he only hit 2 threes in a game. Like, if you want to look up stuff, I mean, you think about all those, like, you think about some of these other 60-point games. I mean, I don't have them in front of me, but I'm assuming that they hit more than 2 threes in these games. And it's just, it didn't feel like a 60-point game early on.
There was like 30 of them where there weren't any threes. Like, threes didn't exist at that point. Yeah. But only, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Only 11 players that have had 60-point games have made 2 or less, made less than 2 threes.
Yeah,
scoring 60 points. Like,
it was
hard.
Just so easy. It was just so easy for him to score early on, and then obviously overtime helped him get to 60. But some of those stuff, I mean, some of the stuff he was doing, especially the fadeaway on Randall. I mean, he has to be gassed at that point. He played 47 minutes and he almost played a full game. So second half, how many minutes he played in the second half?
In just specifically the second half, he played 24 minutes, but then you add overtime to that, he played another 5 minutes. So
he literally played with the exception of like 4 seconds.
Yeah.
Literally 4 seconds, because he played 23 minutes and 56 seconds in the second half. He literally sit out the last 4 seconds of the third quarter, and he played all of overtime. I mean, he was otherworldly tonight.
Absolutely incredible. And you know what it was? Luka said this after the game. And it was like so simple, but it's so true. The Knicks didn't double team him. How many times, how many games this season have we been like, well, Luka was doubled every single time in this game, and so he had to pass the ball, and we had to see if Christian Wood or Tim Hardaway or Dinwiddie or Bullock could get it done outside of Luka. And sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. Well, in this game, the Knicks were like, we're just not going to double Luka. And Luka knew that was going to be their plan. He said the Knicks weren't going to double me. They weren't going to send a double. They were going to have just Grimes or allow the switch for Randall, the switch with McBride, the switch with, Barrett for like a minute, the switch with, anybody else. And Luka was able to just take him on one-on-one. It was just screen and roll and screen and pop, and it was just Luka taking on these one-on-one assignments. And sometimes help would come over. Like, they're not doubling immediately after the screen, but they would come over and help. And Luka's still hitting shots over 2-3 players sometimes in this game because no one could guard him. He's bigger or faster than every single player on the Knicks that played in this game, right? Like, he could hit shots. Oh, how many shots did he hit over Emmanuel quickly? Like, that guy played 50 minutes in this game, and he's got to be like, why are you picking on me? Like, why are you picking on me so much? McBride, same thing. He's kind of a smaller guy. He was hitting shots over him. Quentin Grimes couldn't stick with him even strength-wise. Like, Randall wasn't quick enough even to stay in front of Luka. It's just all over the place. When he got a mismatch, when they didn't double him, he took advantage of it.
Yeah, and we've talked about the game plans that teams go up against Dallas. You know, it's, if we want to be as simple as we can about it, it's one of two things. You're either going to try to take out Luka and dare the other guys to beat you, or do you do the opposite. And it's like, this is the extreme of the opposite. And before we say, hey, it didn't work, I mean, Luka had 50 points and near the end of regulation, and the Knicks almost won this game. So, Tibbs is looking at it saying, all right, we'll give you 50. As crazy as that is, like, if you get 50, you get 50. And they almost won the dang game. So it's pretty wild when you think about it that way. Like, the thing that no one's going to talk about the next day is the efficiency in which he did it on.
Yeah.
Like, I know, like, it sounds weird saying he only took 31 shots, but he only took 31 shots. And like we already said, he only took 6 threes. He was 16 of 22 from the free throw line, but he was 21 of 31 from the field. He shot 68% from the field in a game that he had 60 points. Like, that is absolutely insane. And on top of it, I mean, players, this is the first thing my wife said to me when I called her on the way home. She goes, a lot of players have had 60 points before, but how did he get 20-something rebounds? And I was like, well, honey, that's Luka Doncic, like, that's just insane.
He got a bunch of offensive rebounds, too, that were so crucial. He had 5 offensive rebounds. The Mavericks only had 7 as a team, but they were so crucial for him to get those rebounds. Even the putback shot that he hit to force overtime was an offensive rebound that he got. And one of the reasons why I was going to come on this show and be like bemoaning about how the Mavericks, you don't care about rebounding, but we do care about offensive rebounds.
Stop it. I don't even care about defending anymore. I've never said that I don't care about rebounding. Rebounding matters. It is just not the end all tell all.
Wow.
People just don't want to hear that part, but.
Breaking news, Isaac Harris, Locked On Mavs podcast host, says rebounding matters in a basketball game. This is contrary to popular belief that had been known about Isaac before
it matters.
The breaking of this story.
It just doesn't. Sometimes people use that as like the main crutch of, well, look how many rebounds they gave up. It's like, they win so many games.
But I was going to come on this show and be like, the Knicks in a 2-minute stretch in the fourth quarter got 5 offensive rebounds. And they went from like the Mavs were down by 4 to down by 9, right? Like, and it just was that. They kept getting extra opportunities. And so for Luka to get rebounds the way that he did, he's the best rebounder on the team. Yeah, like he is. And so for him to get those opportunities, have the nose for the ball like he did, and some of it is by design. Some of them are Westbrook rebounds where they want him to get the ball and and be the guy that gets the ball to bring the ball up. But he has that just nose for the ball at times, knows where to be. He's kind of sometimes in those areas like the mid-range where the rebound's going to kind of carry him out to, right? If somebody takes a 3. But yeah, the 21 rebounds is super important for this. And there's only been 9 players out of the 78 that have had 60-point games, 9 players that have ever done it in 31 shots or less.
Wow.
Very efficient, extremely efficient game for him. It didn't take a lot of threes either from him. But coming up, let's talk about how the Mavericks won this game, because that was almost crazier than Luka getting 60, getting like a stat line that no one's ever had before. So we'll talk about how they did that coming up. But before we do, let me tell you about BetOnline. It's the best place to check out the odds and lines inside and outside of sports, I don't think you could have bet that Luka was going to have a 60-point triple-double. You can bet on the Cowboys. They're playing the Titans on Thursday. What do you think? Guess the line on this one. Cowboys over the Titans. Titans at home.
Cowboys by 6.5.
Cowboys by 10.
Always got to up it a little bit more for the Cowboys. I got to remember that.
They always it's like Lakers. It's like the Lakers, right? They're going to boost it just a little bit. You can check out all kinds of different stuff. They have NBA lines. They have odds for who's going to win the championship. Did the Mavs odds to win the championship move up after this game? They did not. No, they're still under the Sixers. The Mavs are plus 3,300 to win the title. So you can take those odds right now today if you want to. Go check it out. They have other stuff besides basketball and football. They have college football. They have baseball, all that kind of stuff. Check it out. It's BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, Isaac Harris, let's get into this game. The Mavericks had to go to overtime against this Knicks team where Jalen Brunson was out. He was a game-time decision. He's had this sore hip that he's been dealing with, and he ended up being out. Where RJ Barrett got like a finger laceration in the first minute and a half. He was out of the game. He never came back. And you're like, wait, what happened? He's gone. I looked over at the guy next to me. I was like, wait, what happened to RJ Barrett? RJ Barrett is gone. And so it's just like, and then Julius Randle picked up 3 fouls in the first quarter. So it's just, you're just looking at this team going, all right, are the Mavericks going to blow another game against teams that don't have their best player? And it almost was the case until a crazy, literally once in a lifetime situation. The Mavs just couldn't defend all game. The Mavs just couldn't defend in any way. It just like the Knicks
gave up 121 points to the New York Knicks
without Randall or without Brunson or Barrett.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, I was getting so frustrated in this game before all the heroic stuff of, can somebody guard Quentin Grimes? Like, after a couple threes, you'd think that, hey, can we not leave him open? I mean, literally a career high night for just across the board for him. He had 33 in the game, hit 7 threes, was driving on him and everything. Body language was horrible.
Yeah,
from a lot of people during this game. Yeah, I don't even really want to talk about the first 3 quarters. They just sucked. I mean,
it was bad. There was just there.
Didn't have a good night. I mean, this, Dwight Powell being a plus 10 is why you can't always trust, plus minus number. It's not everything. There you go. But
their defense was a mess. They just couldn't defend. And we should mention still, Maxi Kleba is out, Dorian Finney-Smith is out, Josh Green is out. Like, those are the Mavs' 3 of their 4 best defenders. And so losing those guys really hurts, because then you're starting Luka, Dinwiddie, Tim Hardaway, Christian Wood, and Dwight Powell. Those are all players that defense is not their strong suit.
Tim Hardaway was guarding Julius Randle, or I don't even know if we should say guarding, but like matched up with Julius Randle.
He was standing in front of Julius Randle when he had the ball a lot.
But it's like, honestly, I was watching LeBron just like go through him on Christmas Day, and I'm like, well, I guess what else does this kid have to do, right? Like, I mean, with Maxi, Dorian, all these guys are out. So it was tough to watch. I'm like, I'm going to be super pissed they lose to this team. But Lucas is like, hey, I'm going to play the whole second half, and I got this.
What it came down to was the Knicks were just getting every 3 that they wanted. They only hit 16 of them, but early on they were hitting a ton. Like, in the first half,
they took 50. I think they averaged 34 a game. So like, this is kind of, they were just hoisting up threes. But it's kind of like, if you're a team like that and you're missing your top 2 guys, I think that's kind of like, you just like launch threes and hope that you get hot, and they kind of did a little bit.
That's what the Mavericks have not wanted to do, right? They don't want teams to take as many threes. They're 8th in the NBA right now in threes allowed, according to Cleaning the Glass. So they don't want you to take threes. They're trying to avoid you taking shots at the rim, but they're average at that. And then they'll let you take as many mid-range shots as you want. That's what their defense tries to make you do. And in this game, they were just completely off their defensive game, their scheme, because of the personnel that they had to play in this game. And so then you get to the second half, and defense was still a mess, even through the third quarter, even through the beginning of the fourth quarter. Luka sat the very last couple seconds of the third quarter, comes out and starts the fourth quarter, and you're like, all right, let's get one last push here. and you get a couple of pretty good plays. Then you have at 7 minutes in the fourth quarter, that play with the incredible ball movement where they're swinging it around and Bullock gets the wide open corner three. The crowd like all stands up. You can just feel the roar of the crowd start rising. He misses the three, and then just the response from the crowd was one of the funniest that I've heard all year, where it was just everyone's collective frustration with those kind of missed threes, especially from Reggie Bullock, and just the frustration from everybody. You could hear the murmuring, the guys, like people being upset and all that. The place would have just exploded if he would have made that. And then you get that stretch in the fourth quarter I mentioned before, where the Knicks got 5 offensive rebounds in like 20 minutes, or in 2 minutes. And you're just like, okay, well, they're just going to get every second chance opportunity. The Mavs are just going to bow out, and then it's not going to work. And honestly, then Luka took over.
Yeah. And you know, I think there were a couple plays towards the end, though. I think Christian Wood hit a massive three, and then he had that massive clutch block.
Yes.
In the corner over there. I thought that was huge for him.
Fourth quarter, Dinwiddie was 5 of 6, had 12 points.
Yeah, Dinwiddie was huge late in the game, but like they both struggled defensively. Like Dinwiddie got blown past defensively different times. Christian Wood just getting pushed around by Mitchell Robinson down low.
First play of the game, it was like a designed post up for Mitchell Robinson, who's not a post up player. He's like they tried to add a little hook shot and stuff to his game recently, but he's not a guy that you just give him like dump the ball on the post down and he just go to work, Mitchell Robinson. But they did against Christian Wood. It was an immediate foul, and I think even wasn't like the second play, like one of their first couple of plays was
the second play was him dunking, but the first was him getting fouled. But Luka got blown past on the perimeter one time by Grimes, and he's like yelling at Tim, and I'm like, dude, you just got blown past. Like, so it was bad vibes, for the first part of the game. But man, they turned it up at the end. Dinwiddie, Christian Wood, Luka, all those guys, they stuck with each other, and I thought that was really cool. As happy as we were, one of the small notes coming or walking to the presser, this arena worker walked past this lady with a chair, and she just says, you lose games, doesn't mean you can just throw chairs. I guess Knicks are pretty pissed after this win, and
a player.
Yeah.
A player threw a chair, went full Bobby Knight. You can't go full Bobby Knight on.
No. Well, it was in the tunnel, but I don't know if he broke or whatever. But she was carrying the chair away, and then one of the other arena workers said something about
That's so funny. He threw a chair. It was probably Brunson.
Poor Brunson, man. Brunson's like
Brunson. Stop. He got paid. He gets to go play for his dad.
No. I meant like in a funny way, but like, Brunson is like, I'm gonna get this win. I'm gonna soak this win in Dallas.
I'm gonna get this win on the bench in my blue hoodie and get the.
And now he's gonna watch his all-time performance from Luka. Front row. You got
front row where Luka's chirping at him like every time down like there was a foul that got called. And Luka and Brunson literally had like a face-to-face conversation where Luka's staring at the bench and Brunson's looking up at him. And they're like yelling back and forth at each other about the foul. Was it a foul? Was it not? Luka goes to the free throw line. I think he synced him.
Tribute video for JB. It was good.
Good stuff.
I was wanting him to pan to Rick Brunson on the sideline, but
I don't think that was gonna happen. So the Mavericks get the win in this one, so now they come down to overtime. Luka takes over. Other than that, though, Dinwiddie 25 points. This had to have been a Dinwiddie game, I thought, because I didn't think Christian Wood was going to be able to get it done as much as he has been. This wasn't going to be like a 30-point Christian Wood game because of Mitchell Robinson and Randall. Those are just not the type of players that he is really good against. But for Dinwiddie, none of the guards on the Knicks can guard. So you got to be able to take advantage of that. He had 25, 5 assists, hit 3 threes, went to the free throw line 4 times. He still can't get it.
He did praise JaVale after the game for, he sets the entire game and he puts him in for this like rebound. And I mean, he didn't do much on the rebound. He just like tapped.
He didn't even hit the ball. Christian Wood hit the ball. I went back and watched it again. I went back and watched all the plays, and Christian Wood's the one that actually hits it.
But then he starts overtime like, oh, you're playing with fire now, Jason
Kidd. Like he started overtime. That was a heat check from Jason Kidd for what? Like I don't know what he's.
But
Yeah, the Mavericks, they have to make these he has to make these decisions now with who to play, and you're just running out. You can't, Luka played 47 minutes, Hardaway played 42, Christian Wood played 40 minutes. For everyone that's been asking for more Christian Wood minutes, you sure are getting them.
You are getting them. Yeah. I also want to give a shout out, tweet about this after the game, but of all games for our friend Jonathan Sharks, his son Jackson, and his mom Melissa and the whole Sharks family. This was Jackson's first Mavs game. And just talk with them before the game, and they had Sharks Mavs jerseys on, had a Mavs ball, and it was really cool just to see his little boy there. And as the game played on, I was like, "You've got to be kidding me! This is the first game."
She's like, "Should I take him home to put him to bed, or I can't leave?"
So it was so cool. She sent me some pictures, after the game, and just what a cool first game for him and for the family. And I wish John was here selfishly in person to enjoy it, but John's enjoying that sucker up there and looking down on it's like Luka. He's just shaking his head and. So anyway, it was just want to, they're awesome.
You tweeted out the pictures at Isaac L. Harris on Twitter if you want to check them out. Yeah. I mean, I'm just gonna keep laughing probably for the rest of the night, because what an insane game to look back at this stat line and just think of what Luka did. He also, by the way, had all 5 of his fouls in the fourth quarter and overtime. He didn't foul at all.
Some of those fouls were stupid.
Some of the fouls this whole game were stupid. I was ready to be frustrated by some of the things that were called in this game, but
yeah,
it all worked out, I guess, right?
Bench points. Knicks had 26. Dallas had 9.
Well, when half of your team is injured. What did you think about them playing? He played Kemba 5 minutes. I think it was all in the first half. I think they decided that they just didn't want to play Kemba. Frank only played 6.5 minutes. That was all pretty much in the first half. He basically has just been going to, the starters for the rest of the game in second halves lately.
Yeah, I think as Luka's saying, "Hey, I'm not coming out," so I'm going to stay in this.
He's like, "Well, I'm going to stick with my rotation then." He's so stuck. He's so stuck on that rotation.
Yeah, I don't personally see why Frank's playing over Jaden Hardy right now if Hardy is healthy and available to play.
My theory, we talked about this after the game. My theory is the back injury is that it's just still not great, but yeah, I don't know. I don't understand why he would either. What a first game for AJ Lawson to be here. Comes and sits on the bench and he gets signed and he's like, all right, a 2-way and I'm sitting on the bench, and he warms up and then he goes and sits on the bench and is gets to watch history. Courtside seat.
All right. Remind me of Ben Bentil at Dirk's last game and stuff.
Yeah. He's good.
A side note also, it was really cool joining on I don't enjoy a lot of Twitter these days, but it was cool to see the NBA community come around and celebrate Luka's big night. I haven't seen so many stars across the league tweet about Luka like that. It was just really cool. I mean, there's so many stars. I mean, even from Kevin Garnett to DeMar DeRozan it's just there's just a ton of players. What?
DeRozan? Did you say DeRozan?
Yeah, I was trying to think of a current one and then a retired. I mean, y'all are thinking of more right now, but it was just player after player talk about Kevin Durant, talk about 2K cheat code and my career numbers, and it was just really cool. We don't get that much. It reminded me of some vintage Dirk stuff or some of Dirk's last games, people tweeting about that, but it was really cool to see that.
Incredible. An incredible night from an incredible player. And you asked me, when will we ever be able to cover a 60-point game again? The guy's still 23. So, I don't know. It could happen again. The way NBA scoring is, it's easier than in Europe, apparently. So, I wouldn't doubt that he could do it again. By the way, what were the numbers? Last 3 games for Luka Doncic. 47 points a game, 13 rebounds a game, 10 assists, 2.3 steals a game.
Mavs are making a point. Mavs say post game.
Mavs 3-0.
And he had 2 steals and a block.
Yeah. he was very proud about those. So there you go, guys. Let us know in the comment section below what's the most incredible part about Luka's incredible game tonight. Thanks for making us your first listen. Go check out the Locked On Sports Today podcast wherever you get your podcast or on YouTube. And thank you to all 20,000 of you that have subscribed on YouTube. That is an insane number because someone mentioned to me that's the capacity number for the American Airlines Center where the Mavericks play. When we always joke about the sellout streak, and now we could sell out the AAC with the amount of YouTube subscribers we have, which is mind blowing. So thank you to all of you guys. Thanks so much for listening to the Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom.